Rain fell in cold sheets across the windshield, blurring the world beyond. Inside the ER at Westbridge Medical Center, the fluorescent lights buzzed faintly above a young doctor hunched over a patient chart, unaware that this night would change everything he thought he knew about fate. Dr. Aiden Hale was only 29, brilliant, focused, and perhaps a little too serious for his age. But tonight, something tugged at his heart as the radio call came in. Female, mid-50s. Suicide attempt. Jumped from a bridge. Suspected overdose. Unconscious. Barely breathing. The paramedics burst through the sliding doors minutes later. The woman was pale, soaked, barely alive. Tubes and wires trailed from her body. Her lips tinged blue, her pulse fading. Aiden rushed to her side, barking orders, adrenaline surging. Let's move. Vitals crashing. Start fluids, get me a crash cart, and prep for intubation. We're not losing her tonight. Something in her face struck him. Not recognition, not yet, but something deep in his chest stirred. A soft pang of sadness, or maybe something older. For the next 40 minutes, he fought like hell. She crashed once on the table. They brought her back. She convulsed, vomited. They stabilized her airway. She flatlined. Aiden shocked her chest, jaw clenched, heart screaming. And when she finally took a shaky breath on her own, a tear slipped from Aiden's eye. Not for her, not yet. He didn't know her, or so he thought. She remained unconscious for the next 20 hours, sedated, silent. Aiden checked on her every few hours despite not being assigned to her case anymore. Something about her, he couldn't let go. The next morning, he stood at her bedside as she began to stir. Her fingers twitched, eyes fluttered. The machines beeped softly as her vitals normalized. She opened her eyes slowly, blinking against the light. Her voice was a whisper. "Where am I?" "You're safe," Aiden said gently, leaning over. "You're in Westbridge Medical. You had a fall, but you're going to be okay." Her eyes filled with tears. "I didn't want to be okay." Aiden paused. "I know, but I'm glad you're still here." Her breath caught. "Why?" "Because someone once saved me," he said softly. "And I think maybe it's my turn now." She looked at him strangely, as though trying to remember something, then closed her eyes, exhausted. The next few days passed slowly. The woman was fragile, both physically and emotionally. Aiden learned her name from the chart. Rebecca Lane, 56. No next of kin listed. No emergency contacts. A retired teacher. Lived alone in a one-bedroom apartment across town. It was a quiet morning when she finally spoke more than a few words. "I didn't think anyone would care," she said, staring out the window. Aiden sat beside her. "Why would you think that?" Rebecca shrugged weakly. "I used to matter. I used to teach. Kids loved me. But time forgets people like me. I lost my job. Then my sister passed. I had no one left. I thought it wouldn't matter if I disappeared." Aiden leaned forward, something rising in his throat. "Did you teach at Rosewood Middle School?" "Almost 20 years ago." She looked startled. "Yes, for nearly 30 years. How do you know that?" He smiled, tears forming in his eyes. "You once stayed after school with a broken, bullied boy. You found him crying in the library when no one else noticed. You read with him every afternoon for months." He stuttered, couldn't look anyone in the eye. "But you made him believe he was worth something." She blinked. "I did that for a lot of kids. But only one of them was named Aiden Hale." Her hand went to her mouth. "Oh my God. I became a doctor because of you. You told me that my pain didn't define me. You said I could be more than what I came from." She was sobbing now. "You were so shy. Your mom was sick. Your dad was an addict," he finished. "You knew, didn't you? But you never pitied me. You just saw me. I always wondered what happened to you," she whispered. Aiden took her hand gently. "You happened to me." Rebecca's recovery was slow but steady. Aiden pulled some strings to get her into a therapy program the hospital partnered with. He even visited her outside his shifts, bringing books, sometimes coffee, always warmth. Word began to spread among the staff. The miracle teacher story, they called it. Nurses left sticky notes with thank you messages. Doctors paid more attention. Even the hospital administrator stopped by, offering to waive part of her bill and help her find housing support. But the biggest change came from Rebecca herself. She smiled now, even if just a little. She laughed once, soft, surprised. She started asking about the other patients in her ward, offering advice, giving comfort. It was like a light was coming back on. 2 weeks later, Aiden brought her a surprise. A faded yearbook from 2006. He had tracked it down through the school's archives. She flipped through the pages slowly until her eyes landed on a message written in crooked, blue pen. Thank you for saving me before I knew I needed saving. I hope I make you proud one day. Aiden Hale, 8th grade. She looked up, tears spilling down her face. I remember this. I saved this note for years. I meant every word. Rebecca left the hospital 30 days after arriving. But this time she walked out not carried. Aiden organized a small farewell party in the hospital garden. Some of her former students, now adults with kids of their own, showed up too. He tracked them down on social media. Mississippi Lane? A woman asked tearfully. You were my favorite teacher. You told me I was a leader when everyone called me bossy. I run my own company now. You gave me books when I couldn't afford lunch, said another. Now I'm a teacher too. I named my daughter after you, said one softly. Rebecca looked around, stunned. I had no idea I mattered this much. You always did, Aiden said. 3 months later, Rebecca started volunteering at the hospital's pediatric wing, reading to sick kids every Thursday. Aiden watched her through the glass window once. Children circled around her, laughter echoing down the hallway. She saved them, a nurse said beside him. She saved me first, Aiden replied. Final scene. On the anniversary of her suicide attempt, Rebecca wrote a letter. To the young doctor who reminded me of who I was. I came into your ER thinking I had no one left. No purpose, no voice. I thought my story was over. But you reminded me that even broken stories can be rewritten. That kindness given years ago can come back when we least expect it. Thank you for choosing to see me not just as a patient, but as a person. You didn't just revive my heart. You revived my hope. Closing words. Sometimes the people we save are the ones who once saved us. Sometimes the smallest act of kindness echoes across decades. And sometimes a teacher's lesson comes full circle, written not on a chalkboard, but in a heartbeat restored. Because compassion doesn't retire. And hope always finds a way back.